Hello, everyone, and welcome to the finale of our Dead Planet series. Say hello, everyone.
Hello,
Hi.
everyone.
Hello, everyone.
Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you for being with us along this journey. It has been fantastic. I think we hopefully will have a wonderful conclusion to this story for you. Thank you for your support in just being here. Still welcome those subscriptions and anything else you'd like to do for supporting this show. Otherwise, just sit back and enjoy, and we'll see if we can get the hell off this dead planet. Warden, over to you.
Thank you, Todd. Opening sequence is the tunnel at the end of the road. The APC comes rocketing out. Nyx Coly is driving like a bat out of hell, literally. In the background, a legion of Gaunt can be seen trying to make their way up the long road, but they are far, far behind the crew of the Solus. Captain Petty Williams sits in the gunnery turret, ever vigilant, watching, making sure that there are no threats as Lase picks a route towards the Red Tower, en route to fulfill a promise to a couple of Marines. But as the camera pulls inside, it's Nyx that the camera pulls in on. As they sit in the corner, a bag full of computer parts and hard drives clutched in their hands, trying desperately not to think about what happened moments before. Lase, you haven't heard from your sibling in a little while. As things start to relax, and you put on a slow, easy course towards the Red Tower, how do you go about trying to check on her?
I think first, I'm back and forth with Captain. Petty, how we looking?
I don't know, man. There's so many of them. I'm doing my best. Keep going.
We making distance?
I think so. I think we can close the gap.
And just with those affirmations, just continue to head towards the tower, pick up our recruits, and I think avoiding the checkup. But as things do seem to get to a point where the silence just gets, the tension is too much anyway.
Spray
Sis?
painted above your head. Oh, go ahead.
Sis? You alright?
Nyx can't hear him because her headphones are blasting, and more so, she's just waiting for that voice that normally peeks in when she can't hear anything. So she's like listening to her playlist, kind of like on a song for a minute, and then it switches to another song, and then it switches to another song, and it gets louder and louder and louder in her eardrums because she's just waiting for when Kai normally would interrupt and try to like get to her when nobody else could, and she's just having a very hard time processing everything right now.
Assuming this is...
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Todd.
I was say, assuming this is set up a little bit by like a minivan, I'm gonna try and reach between the seats and maybe give a tap to the leg, get her attention. If she doesn't respond, I take a hint and I continue driving.
Spray painted above your head is a big red button with the word tunes next to it.
That's gruesome.
Just in case you want to lighten the mood. for whatever it is Marines would listen to, an APC with the graffiti "Ride or Die" blazoned on the outside of it.
What the hell?
Petty sees it and just like keeps her eye on what's happening behind this APC. Just tries to focus. Normally she would be totally into that. That's like totally her speed to just kind of ride out, music blasting, crazy. But at this moment, she is just she has a singular focus.
I'll punch it.
And so Lace's hand reaches up, pushes the red button, and the speakers crackle to life as the soundtrack to Pirates of Penzance begins to play on the inside of the APC. These were some very weird Marines.
I yell over it. Seriously, Coly? This doesn't feel a little ridiculous to you?
I didn't choose the station.
I just go back to what I'm doing and try to focus and try to tune it out. It's like too much for me.
And as Captain Petty looks for a distraction, their eyes fall on one very large one. Sankar's box, sitting near the driver's seat where Lace stashed it as soon as he got in the APC. Nelfie's words. Go ahead.
I hesitate for a second, like for just a split second. But like as I kind of like turn my attention back to check out the rear, I see Nyx, and like I see that she's just like destroyed and she's gone. And like I look back over at Lase and I look at Nyx again, and I just realize that like the person that was supposed to keep them safe is gone, and like I'm the only one left who can like do that. So I just kind of like look at it one last time and like stick to literally my gun.
Captain Petty, can you give me a sanity check with disadvantage, please?
Yes.
As the pressure begins to mount.
I got an 85 and an 8, so that's a fail.
So you focus on the weapon in front of you, making sure it's ready, checking your gear, doing all the things that a good Marine does. But the chuckle that begins to echo from Lace's co-pilot seat quickly grabs your attention. He's going back for the Marines, Petunia?
I sigh deeply and shake my head and realize that I'm really tired, like mentally exhausted. Physically, like I'm good, but mentally I'm just worn out. And I just say, we're just doing the best we can. We just got to do the best we can.
Sorry, did you say you said that out loud?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Glance over, and assuming he's talking in their direction.
I'm like offhandedly saying it. Like I recognize that I don't want to like rattle anyone, but I also just can't have this like nagging force and still try to like pay attention. Like that has to go somewhere. So to try to keep my focus on the task at hand, I just answer him. But I try to kind of answer like the world, like this is what we're doing. Like
Petty,
by now I know it's weird.
Petty, you got time?
What? Time for what, man?
What's our time? What's our countdown?
Oh, yeah.
I hope
We're
someone's
doing
keeping
good.
track.
We're doing good. We're we're on track. And I kind of look back out. Do I know how far we are, Warden?
Yep, so you got about 5.5 hours on the clock right now. You're about 8 minutes away from the outside of the Red Tower at this point. So you'll be coming up on our Marine and his mute friend, Remy, shortly, to fulfill that promise. And then you've got 5 20-minute stretches to make it to the ship after that.
Okay. I download Lase on all that. Give him peace of mind and distract myself, hopefully.
You know, the song, it kind of catchy after a while.
Yeah, I guess I could let it grow on me.
Probably a whole lot better than whatever the hell she's listening to. Never was one for her tastes.
When he says that, she's in between songs and she like blips in for a moment and is like, I heard that, and then just goes back to,
Are you still with us?
being in her headphones. In a matter of speaking, we'll talk about it later. Let's get to the ship. I got plans.
I'm gonna give another arm back squeeze of the knee. Let her know that we still know that she's here and glad that she is. And keep fucking driving.
Anybody want to do anything before you get to the Red Tower?
I try to get as many as I can to just try to pick them off if I can. I want it to be as clean of an entry as we can kind of get when we get to the ship.
Is there anything I can use to make explosives around us?
Well, there are the actual explosives in the well-stocked APC.
That's true. Nyx is gonna, while they're kind of distracted, just grab some and throw them in her bag. Because she's angry.
The vast majority of the ship or the craft is filled with chaff and smoke grenades, because that is, of course, its main job, is to cloak and deceive. But on the inside, there's definitely more than one large satchel of frag grenades. And
I think we could probably drop some of that if we haven't already. Are the Gaunt keeping pretty good pace with us?
No, you're leaving them in the dust.
Okay.
But anything that moves, thinks it's going to move, looks like it might move, Petty puts rounds in it. So every once in a while, the staccato fire of the sentry guns just go off. But they're long behind. You see the glint of metal from the top of the Red Tower as you come up close, heading down into the little valley where the tent was when you last left the Marines. A little flare shoots up a little ways away from the tent as soon as the APC can be seen. And as you pull in close, they're standing there, a bag in each hand, Remy gripping his pistol, our one-eyed Marine holding his weapon, waiting for you as you pull up.
I pull up and I say, "Look alive, soldiers." And I try to make a little bit of room for them inside the APC. As I'm kind of making room inside, I try to kind of check on Nyx a little bit, let her know that people are coming in since she's in her own world.
She just like nods to acknowledge you, but if she says anything out loud, she's either gonna scream or she's gonna, like, emotions are gonna start flooding, and she knows that we don't have time for that.
One Eye greets you as soon as he comes in. I can't believe it. You did it.
Save it for the ride. Get in.
He pulls his mute friend in his loud bow tie suit in behind him, slams him into a seat, points at some gear and says, "Changing those fatigues, boy." And Remy starts to undress. APC takes off, unmolested, no issues, no gaunts.
You two still remember how to fight?
That we do.
All right, well, with the way our day's been going, it's not going to be an easy exit, I assume. So just be ready for anything.
One-eyed Marine crawls up into the turret, relieves Captain Petty. "Why don't you rest your eyes for a spell?"
I appreciate that. I don't know how relaxed I can get, but I'll see what I can do. And I kind of kick back and like just kind of rest my body for a second, but I'm keeping my eye on the guy on the guns.
You're content with what almost could be a smile on his face as he grabs a hold of those guns. Feeling safe for the first time in days.
Look at that, Captain. Got yourself a regular platoon.
Yeah,
Not
we do
just,
what we can.
Not just a couple of us bums anymore.
We'll see if we can't make a soldier out of the one on the ship.
That will be quite the feat if you're able to pull that off.
Can I so the kid that's on the ship, he had a crash landing, right? He's the child of people who crash landed.
Yep, Dean.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So I just I kind of inform our two new recruits that there's somebody on the ship so that they're not freaked out. Like, I imagine they have all kinds of PTSD, and I just let them know. I fill them in on like our situation thus far as we're driving.
The Marine introduces himself formally as Garrett. You can call me Garrett. Cap. I seem to remember you had a droid with you.
Yeah, that's a fresh wound there, Garrett. Great memory. But I think for now, let's move the conversation along.
Nyx turns her headphones up.
Fair enough. Remy sits in the co-pilot's seat, his head bopping along to "I Am a Pirate King" as it
I'm
comes
gonna give him like a slap on the shoulder. It's good, isn't it? It's good.
He seems fairly excited. He has a helmet on. He has full fatigues. He's pulled on battle dress. He took 3 pistols. And he has them all over it, shoved in his belt.
He's ready.
He's ready.
Perhaps.
I look at Lase and I
Go.
say, "Soldier after my own heart."
All right, Lase, are you going to try anything fancy, or are you just going to drive?
Just driving, yeah.
Okay. You pass the first of the 5 checkpoints along the map, pretty much as you recall them, heading up into the desert area without an issue. 20 minutes has passed. Things are almost feeling normal. You haven't seen any gaunt in a while. Nothing's flying. Nothing's watching you. No issues. If it wasn't for the cloud of energy hanging in that APC, it'd almost be comforting. Almost. The next 20 minutes goes by pretty good. At this point, you're getting a little sick of Pirates of Penzance. And Remy is attempting to find some other music. He points to Nyx's headphones, kind of a quizzical look on his face like,
I'll just smash the button again, hopefully turning it off.
It shuts off. All right, you're now almost an hour into your sojourn. The radio crackles to life. Static coming across. You could almost hear a voice somewhere in that static. A little panicked.
I'm gonna reach back and shake Nyx's knee. Get her attention and kind of make a motion to pull off at least an ear.
She turns him down. What?
Turns them down.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I thought you meant turn me down.
Yeah. I had fun.
Something's coming through the radio. Just want all ears on this one.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. As long as those people stop talking, we'll be fine.
If there's
Takes a-
any like seeming like a volume or something, I'll maybe kind of do that, or even a way to focus that in.
Yep. So you start playing with the dials, trying to get a clearer signal. A few minutes later, the static crackles away, and you can hear a clear voice. Man, I'm serious. Can anyone hear me? It's Dean's voice. Sounds a little distressed, and maybe a little parched. He's probably been at this a while.
Is there a mic, comm, whatever?
Yep, you can return.
Go and grab that. Or Captain, if you're nearby,
Yeah,
you're leading this excursion.
I hear it and I say, "It's all right, man. Focus on the road." And I kind of grab it and I hold it up so we can both speak into it at the same time. Dean?
Yeah, is that you, Cap?
It's Captain Lase. What's up?
Oh, I've been here a long time by myself.
Yeah,
Starting to worry you guys weren't coming.
Sorry about that. It got hairy out here. How's everything with the ship?
Fine, I guess.
You don't sound sure.
Where are you at, Dean?
Oh, I'm in the cargo area.
What are you doing in there, buddy?
Well, following orders.
Okay. Who gave you those orders?
Your android.
And what did Kai ask you to do?
They said I needed to make sure everything was secure and ready to go.
Oh, the ship itself.
And the cargo, because there's that hole in the side, remember?
All right.
I fixed it.
Thanks so much, Dean. We got 2 new recruits incoming. They're riding in
okay.
with us.
Is Android still there with you? Making sure, helping out?
No, it's just been me. I thought someone was here for a while, but never did find them. That's like half a day ago.
Okay.
All right, well, if you have things prepared and prepped, just head on back to your quarters and we'll be there soon.
Okay. If Kai calls again, what should I say? Should I report in? I'm not sure what the protocol here is.
Kai calls in
Nyx
again.
Just like doesn't know how to respond or react. Like she really wants to say something and like tell him to tell Kai a whole bunch of stuff. but like nothing comes out of her mouth. She's just like frozen.
You tell Kai that we're thankful for them, and we'll be taking it from here.
Okay.
If there's any trouble with that, absolutely, give us another call.
Okay. Dean out. He disconnects.
The second
Fucking
that we
Dean.
disconnect, I look at Lase, and I'm like, I wouldn't be surprised if in their final moments they sent a message to the ship. But also, a half day ago is when we were supposed to be meeting up with Nelphie, right?
You actually only spent about 4 hours in the Red Tower,
Okay.
all in all. So that would have been when Nelphie was almost certainly on the ship getting the box.
Okay. Okay.
Would be what Dean was describing.
Cool. Okay.
So he
Yeah,
knew
yeah,
someone
'cause-
was around,
That's
but
what
he
I thought.
never, there was
Okay.
no contact.
When we
Cool.
first, when we first left, yeah. So
All right.
So Nyx just looks at the captain and goes, "What if they're still alive?"
I guess we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. And I just kind of like handle like my weapons, like I try to get ready.
And that's when you
Um,
hear it. The roar of engines as a marine military craft passes you overhead. As Lase looks up, you're pretty sure that has to be the Defiance. And it's heading right towards your ship.
hey, Patch, friends of yours?
Garrett looks out, tries a survey. That looks like the Defiance, all right.
The fuck is it doing airborne?
I mean, theoretically, it could have been repaired by now. It's been days. Where's it head? To the plateau?
It looks like it's headed to our ship.
Well, that's odd.
How many? Was there a number of the crew that survived?
Last contact we had with anybody at the Defiance was 3-4 days ago. Most of them were infirmed. Those who we dragged out of various firefights were in triage back there at the ship. There might be 1 or 2 non-essential personnel that were working on the engines.
How about a total number here, there, Garrett? What are we looking at?
Dozen tops. But nobody in fighting shape.
Having seen what we saw in the Red Tower, where there's like people that are still kind of performing bits of their duties, like post Gaunt, I'm on high alert. Like I'm on high alert, and I look over at Lase and I say, "What are the chances there's people needing to leave on that ship versus people trying to keep us here?"
I think there's good chances for all of it.
I want to shoot it down, Lase. I don't want any bloodshed that's unnecessary, but with the day we've had, I want to just shoot it the fuck down.
Garrett hears that and says, well, I doubt it can shoot back.
It's about preventing whoever is flying that thing from reaching us.
Oh, they move past your location real quick.
Oh, okay.
You're in a van and they're in an airplane.
Oh, so there's
you
nothing
just
that
see
we
it.
can do.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking if we at least have long range, we could just shoot it out of the sky before it gets to where we are. But if we've missed it, then never
Yeah.
mind.
No,
I
there
guess
was never
prepare.
an opportunity. Yeah, there was never opportunity for the APC to shoot down a starship.
Got it.
Nyx just like elbows the captain a little bit and opens her bag and shows the captain that the frag grenades that she took, and she's like, there's more in that bag over there. I feel like we're gonna need them.
Petty kind of eyes it and like looks pleasantly surprised at Nyx to see that she's at least there enough to have taken those steps, and starts to kind of gather a few in her pack to put in her pack as well.
Don't forget those rocks.
She just like glares over at him.
Did you go through the bag, Nyx?
She hasn't gone through it. She just threw explosives into it, which definitely safe. But is just trying to keep it together as much as she can, and isn't really thinking too far ahead that much. Just that she's kind of angry. So she doesn't know what he's talking about, but she doesn't care right now either.
All right, you're 40 minutes out from the ship. If you continue on your normal course.
Is there, going back to the tower, is there a significant difference identifying factor to these gaunt people? Or are they pretty well...
Well, most of the ones.
Todd's drawing a little bit of blank there.
Yep, that's okay. So let me unpack everything you've seen, right? So originally there was the Alpha Gaunt on the Alexis. That was the first one. It was definitely more warlike. And then there were the other Gaunt you saw in the Necropolis and the Hounds, right? Those definitely all seemed very alien. The ones that you ran into in the Red Tower were clearly Marines or former personnel that had somehow been changed or infected after they died.
Okay.
And based on Nelphi's details, and Nyx has had plenty of time to, cipher through her very large amount of Nelphi's data for what they know about the Gaunt. Something happens to dead bodies here. Or something, that energy from the gate somehow seems to empower them and transform them. Nelphi's theories are it's some sort of possession of some kind that's only able to enter dead bodies. But that doesn't explain the Hounds, doesn't explain some of the other things you've seen, and you don't have any idea what makes an alpha versus what makes one of these.
Right. Okay. Basically they would look like a just reanimated human.
Essentially, yeah.
Okay.
But like twisted and creepy, like that one scientist last time had like eye stalks.
Yep.
Well, that's my question, because if basically, if I know that, then I would want to call out to Captain and anyone else, just kind of getting ahead of it. Assuming we're going to have company. If they even look slightest bit off, take them out. We're not here running a commercial liner here out of off-worlds.
And with that, Nyx, your eyes are brought to the stockpile of weapons on one side of the APC. Considering upgrading your nail gun?
Yeah, she'll grab one.
So as you reach out, give me a fear check as that cowardice comes to play. So D100.
Oh, it's almost good.
70. And fear on our beloved scientist is 35.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So you just can't quite do it. You try, you reach out, you just can't seem to take a weapon from the stockpile. every time you think about it, you think about what it would take to pull the trigger. That takes you right back to the Alexis. When you're on the floor, that spent nail gun in your hand, and Kai, chuck full of nails.
So she'll reach out and then she'll hesitate and then she can kind of feel herself wavering. So she throws her music back on and tells herself that she's never listening to her goddamn brother ever again when he asked her to turn her effing music off.
I was just going to give you some encouragement to maybe reattempt that, but...
No. She's
Plus
mad
one
at you.
stress, Jen.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Another 20 minutes goes by. Your scanners are picking up the ship in the distance. 2 of them, actually. Side by side on the ground.
Start kind of like looking around. We got any bioscanning equipment on this piece of junk?
I look around and see if I can find anything like on the outside of the ship. And I also kind of rouse Nyx. Hey, we're going to need you to be on your guard. You need to be scanning every and anything out here, okay? I know this sucks, but
She
we
reaches
can make it
under-
out of this.
And she kind of like looks at Captain like, and your point, because like now is not the time to talk about people making things out of places. But like just sticks in her hand in her bag and starts like rummaging around for the bioscanner that she had and notices the frigging rocks and is like, where are my computer drives? Brother? Are
I'm gonna
these
mime
the
taking
rocks
off
you
some
were talking
headphones.
about?
Sorry, what? What? I can't hear you.
Oh. She thinks about it, but then realizes that she'll probably throw the rock through the windshield thingy, and that could potentially be bad, and just starts chucking him on the ground, like swearing to herself.
Are we making Remy and Patch uncomfortable enough that they want to leave yet?
Yeah.
Good
Eddie is
question.
just like...
Yes. They are uncomfortable and they are gaining stress. That can only go badly.
Anyway,
Keep digging. They're in
pulls
there.
out. So she's like just grabbing rocks and like throwing them on the ground as hard as she can, so it's like echoing like on the floor or whatever. It makes like a loud clanging sound. But like she just which annoys her, but she just turns her headphones up louder so she doesn't have to hear it, and just starts taking each rock out until she finds her bioscanner, and then just like gives her brother another like, I can't fucking believe you did that glance, and then like starts scanning for shit. Where am I pointing this thing? And then realizes that she can't hear anybody and is like, oh right, I have to control my own volume from now on, and like turns her headphones Cat, what do I need this for? What are we scanning? Where are we scanning?
So when you were a little lost there, we saw a plane speed past us toward our ship. So there are going to be some people incoming. We need to make sure that we're scanning anything that we see. People, grass, anything that looks even a little bit untoward, we're aiming at it and taking it out. Your brother and I will got you covered, but make sure you're you got our backs, please. I know it's a bad
Just
time.
looking for a head count.
And we're heading towards it.
You're heading towards it. You're 10 clicks away. Your bioscanner's got a top range of a click.
So she's gonna look at the dudes, or she's gonna look and see if there's anybody in the co-pilot seat. Is there anybody sitting next to Lase?
Yeah,
Remy.
Remy's sitting there.
Okay, and she's gonna like stare at him.
He gets out of the seat, scrambles on all fours to the back, just kind of looks at her.
And then she sits down next to her brother and begins holding out her scanner to pay attention to anything that could be coming towards them, which is actually a nice distraction of whatever the fridge is happening around here right now.
I'm gonna, once again, another squeeze on the knee as she comes up next to me, and see if I can get her attention again. What are you listening to?
Not whatever it was you were listening to.
Well, why don't you see if you can tap it in?
All right, fine. And then she like does some stuff, links to the Bluetooth or whatever, and you can just hear Evanescence, like really sad rock music playing.
Remy, how's this?
Remy looks around strangely.
And she just goes, "Good answer." And goes back to her scanner.
A few minutes into Nyx Coly DJ, things feel almost jovial. You're about 10 minutes out. 5 clicks to go. You can see on the radar the 2 ships are nestled next door to each other, but not much else. Everyone may make a comfort roll. Target number's 35. You want to get under a 35, but you want it as high as possible to reduce stress. If you fail, nothing bad happens. You just don't get any comfort.
Nice. Not nice.
So appropriately, Nyx recovers 1 stress. I mean, it is their playlist.
Wouldn't hurt to put some damn CCR on that.
And with Petty, do you laugh at that joke?
Eddie is really, really frazzled. Her dad listened to CCR, so she knows of them, but she's just not in that headspace at all. Like, she's on alert and just wondering who's going to be at her ship.
Nyx, under her breath, just says to Lase, "I did not take all the rocks out of my bag. Yet."
Well, might want to. They might damage those computers.
Remind me to hit you when we get back home.
Okay.
And Petty, that's when it starts to sink in. You're never going to see home again. Even if you get off this planet, you're all headed to the Commonwealth. New life, new opportunities. And the one bright shining moment in the last 24 hours was some air supply in an elevator, followed by a very successful firefight. Everything else has been sheer hell. Home feels like a distant memory.
Yeah, she takes a minute. She loves Earth and she loves being from there. She really has embraced her past. But there's also like a sense of unease that she feels because she can't control when she sees her dad. And that's kind of like pushing her away from the positivity of those memories. So she's kind of just trying to like hold it together as they get to the ship. She knows she's not going to be able to go home again, but she's looking forward to being able to start something new.
Okay. I won't ruin that for you. I'll let you have that moment. As you come to the 1-click mark, Lase downshifts a little bit to slow down, because this is the point where you're going to start getting some real intel on what's ahead of you.
That thing lighten up yet, sis?
3 life signs at the edge, right around the Solus.
Yeah, 3 incoming.
3 total.
As far as I can see right now.
So I shout up to Gunner. Gunner! Straight ahead. 3 targets.
Is she able to see well enough, like basically Dean?
But one of them's clearly Dean. And so you know at the edge is the Solus, because the radar and the bioscammers, you can kind of overlay them together with the 2 different devices. And what Nyx is seeing is clearly at the ship.
Okay.
It's three life signs, all pretty close to each other.
Okay.
I say keep an eye. Like I said, we've got 1 person that we're expecting back at our ship. Just try to get him ready so that in case we get there and it's like people we don't want to see, we already have backup.
Who the fuck is this 3rd person?
Nyx is trying to like think about who could be over there. Can they see if it's like life or if it's like their beings?
As you're getting closer, you're beginning to get a little better readings. So there are 3 living humans.
Okay.
1 android signature in addition to that. And a couple of dozen dark matter signatures. The dark matter signatures are clustered closer to the Defiance. Everything else seems to be close to the Solus.
Well, I've got some bad news and some terrible news. Which one would you like first, bro?
The good news, please.
I don't have that on the menu. However, the lesser of the bad news is Dean's still there. The worst of it is there's also about 12 signatures of dark matter coming through, plus an android that I'm going to assume is not my android. So, Captain, we might need to grab the entire bag of frag grenades so I can pummel them into his face.
Yeah, I think that's appropriate. Hey, man. And I look over at, what's the other guy's name that used to be in the polka dot suit? Remy.
Remy.
And I'm like, I show him the bag that I have of these grenades. And I say, you don't need to talk to know how to throw. You got a good arm? All right. And I hand them to him. And I say, watch me, watch Lase. One of us will give you the signal when we need you.
Gives you a thumbs up. It's very ecstatic.
Awesome. Yeah, there's going to be bloodshed for you, pal.
Garrett watches this and says, hey, Cap?
Yeah?
I don't think I mentioned this before. Remy's a chaplain.
A chaplain, you say?
Yeah, I don't mean Charlie Chaplin. I know.
Like a man of God?
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's a chaplain's job to escort sinners to their final repose, right?
My point is, if you're expecting those grenades to kill people, I don't know how that's going to turn out.
Ugh. So
We're
the captain,
people, Garrett.
Nyx just goes, that's fine. He can be one of them too. Because she's angry.
the captain, so I look at him and I see his enthusiasm. And I like make up another bag that has all the rocks in it. And I give him that and I say, this is your bag. This is the bag for you. We'll let you know when we need you. And you just go for it. And I hand him the bag of rocks. And I just kind of keep the bag of grenades and figuring that depending on how we kind of meet the people back at our ship, I can hand them off to Garrett if I need to.
Your brain also goes back to your first meeting with these two and Remy's death grip on that pistol and Garrett telling you it's not loaded.
Mm-hmm.
So even though he's got these small arms on him. He may not be using them.
I thought he was like enthusiastic because he was bloodthirsty. I was like, I'll give you all the blood you need, pal. We can do it. But it's the opposite.
He just wants to be helpful. All right. You're getting closer and closer. So, Lase, how close do you want to get?
Probably just within our guns range. Just the one turret? What do we got on this?
Yeah, let's run over the APC one more time. I believe it is still living in the chat. But you've got some flamethrowers. You've got sentry guns. You got 4 sentry guns. You got 2 flamethrowers. You have a 32-round light mortar that has yet to be used, as well as rear-mounted smoke grenades, chaff grenades, and thermal vision up to 200 meters.
Does that get through the smoke? The thermal?
Yes.
Yeah.
The
it would,
thermal.
right? Yeah.
Yep, the thermal reads through the smoke.
Okay. Captain, what's your orders?
So my orders are to come in low. Obviously, we're just trying to like come in kind of like as quietly as we can. It's a big, gigantic machine, so I feel like that's going to be difficult, but just trying to kind of keep our focus ahead, use any kind of binoculars that we have to try and get as much intel on them as quickly as we can so that as we're getting closer, we can come up with a plan. Right now, we just don't know enough, so Petty's got like her eyes just trained on these people as they kind of come into view.
As Lase brings the APC within 400 meters, he begins to slow, coming in quiet. So you can get to that 200-meter range for the thermal vision. That's really where the APC's tools will be at their most valuable, within 200 meters. And then you look down, and the Solus is laid out, and the Defiance is close by, its front cockpit aimed sort of at the side of the Solus's cargo. The ramp is down at the Solus, and at the base of that is a campfire. There's one form sitting near that campfire that's not human. You're assuming that's the android signature. And then closer to the ramp are 2 poles jammed into the ground with 2 bodies attached to them. 1 each. Hard to tell at this distance who they would be.
I tap Lase and I go, I think that's Nelfie.
Yeah, I would not be surprised.
I go up to Garrett and I kind of brief him on our run-in with Nelfie and that he's going to try to keep us on this planet, and let him know that we've got 2 people in distress, and to refrain from firing until he gets our signal, because we're going to have to try to. I'd like to try to talk it out first. I know that's not going to work, but I'd at least like to get some information on what the plan is with this situation.
Just a point of clarification for the audience and everyone at home, because I actually think I misspoke earlier. So it's 3 total forms, right?
Mm-hmm.
1 android and 2 humans.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So these 3 people that you're seeing are everybody.
Okay.
No sign of the gaunt, but according to the dark matter signature, there's at least a dozen gaunt probably in the Defiance.
Okay.
Okay.
Do we have a visual up ahead yet?
You're 200 meters, so yeah, I mean, you have a little bit of a visual, but you don't have like telescopic abilities yet. You're gonna have to get closer.
Okay. Does the bioscanner show their vital signs, or is it more just a pulse of? that they're there?
They're alive,
Okay.
but their vitals are not good. Nyx.
Can I try to call? Well, I
Dean?
mean, I guess we know that we would see Dean on the scanner, right? If he were still on the ship. Okay.
Correct.
Yep.
Man, that poor kid. So since there's not really any
God,
like,
Warden, I think I know who the other fucker is.
since I don't so I kind of survey the scene and I see that there's no need for us to really enter in quietly. This person is obviously waiting for us. I kind of tell Lase to pick up the pace and start strapping up, and I let Nyx know, like, hey, this is the situation. You see those people. We're gonna go and try and talk first. Try to stay back and behind me and Lase, like, kind of let us lead here so that you don't wind up dead. And I try to, like, say it as nicely as I can. Kind of like almost whisper the last word.
I'll pull up. I don't know. Petty, you're talking like getting out and going to have a chat, right?
Yeah.
Roast some marshmallows with the gang. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll kind of pull up.
Maybe 100 meters.
Sure. Yeah. And again, kind of following up. Garrett, anything looks wrong, you open the fuck up. And then I'll just turn and look over at my sister and give one more squeeze of the knee. I won't say anything. And grab a rifle. And all right, Captain.
As we like leave, I settle on a symbol with Lase and with Garrett so that they both know. And I imagine it's going to be some kind of hand gesture, whatever, some marine looking thing, for like an open fire. Like if God forbid, he says something that doesn't seem threatening and we have a shot, he can take the shot.
Do we have like comms or anything?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That link with him, that link with Garrett.
Well, in fact, if you want, I mean, you still have your vac suits on. So if you want to close the helmets on your vac suit, so that you guys have, basically, you can speak into the mic without it being heard outside the vac suit, right?
Yes, that.
You could absolutely do that. I mean, they'll see your lips move, but you might have some coded language you might be able to use.
Okay.
All right. So I will need the assistance of chat and my dutiful players as we go forward. Kay, I know you're there in chat. So for the remainder of tonight's episode, we're a little bit on the honor system when it comes to stress. I will not be awarding stress. So if the players feel like their characters are getting stressed, feel free to award yourself stress. I will call for panic checks as appropriate. Kay, you can help keep them honest there in chat. So players, if Kay calls you out, Kay can also award some stress.
She ain't here.
Okay, and I can't see the chat, so it's on the honor system. Okay? As you disembark and begin to make the walk, the following becomes very clear. Nelphie is sitting at the fire, turning a rotisserie. On that rotisserie is most of the body parts of Kai. At his feet is Kai's head. 2 incendiary grenades strapped where her eyes once were. His fingers kind of dangling over the pins. And on his head, in a nonchalant manner, was the visor that Kai once wore over the top of his forehead, almost like discarded goggles. And as you get closer, you can see the 2 forms strapped to those 2 poles behind it. One is clearly Dean, who's conscious and whimpering, but badly beaten. The other is not conscious, but is the shapely form of Marine Lieutenant Colonel Victoria Bradley.
Fuck.
I'll take a minute to let all that soak in. As Candace is trying to decide on a scale of 1 to 10 how terrible I am as a human.
So I'm like behind them, right?
No,
like,
you're in the vehicle. You're not
You are
coming
in
with
the
us.
vehicle.
Okay. So
I'm gonna look
in the
over
vehicle-
at.
Oh, wait,
Go ahead. No, go
Well,
ahead.
I was gonna say in the vehicle then, if that's where Nyx is, thank freaking God. They're gonna kind of like look at the other people that are in the vehicle with her, and then just come to the assessment that if some shit goes down, they're not gonna like whatever, and moves from the person seat to the driver's seat, just waiting for any type of signal because she's gonna run that motherfucker over.
I'm gonna turn and attention's going to go right to Petty as soon as I see having an inkling of who this other figure might have been. Just knowing our fucking luck on this planet. And I'm gonna immediately go to her and see.
Like, Lase looks at me and I am furious. Like, furious. I am on fire. Like, I see this like display.
Like 1d10 stress on fire?
So I don't even know if I'm stressed. Like, I'm literally just like a flaming ball of rage. Like, I see this woman that I used to love and that I used to care for. And then I see Dean and I'm like, that sucks. Like, I just met him, but like, whatever. But then I see Kai and this tableau, right? And this banquet of visual just atrocities that he has laid here for us. And I am just on fire. Like, I'm so angry. And like, I take out my smart rifle and I just fire one shot. And I try to like shoot the glasses like off of his face. And like, I know there's a chance that I'm not gonna make it. But as I do it, I say, you take those the fuck off your face. And just kind of scream at him. Like, I come in hot. I don't mean to, but I'm mad.
So Petty racks around and starts just taking one committed step after another, lining up this shot.
Yeah. Yeah, I go in Marine style, like you're going to be entering a building. And I'm just like zeroing in. Like, I'm not even, like, I recognize that there's people there and I know that I got to get to that. But like,
I'm gonna put an arm up. I'm gonna put an arm up, and I know there's resistance coming, but I'm gonna put my arm on her arms to pull her back. Captain.
Coly, do you?
Captain.
Coly.
Yes, I've got eyes.
I understand. I probably can't take him out this way, but he needs to know that this is fucking offensive. And I kind of like spit it in his direction. And like, I know he's probably thrilled he's getting a rise out of me, but I've fucking had it. Like, I've had it.
Warden, what's our countdown at? About a few hours?
Yeah, so you start out with 5.5 hours. You've used 1 hour and 40 minutes. So you got a little under 4 hours, basically, before the fission bomb does its job. Plenty of time.
You save some marshmallows for us there, Bot?
Marshmallows. Curious. He
What do you
reaches
want?
up. He reaches up with his hands. One holds an incendiary grenade in it. The pin has already been removed. The other, he reaches up towards the visor to follow the captain's decision, and then just sort of strokes it. I remove this. and we chat.
You're all right. And I keep my weapon trained on him until he removes the glasses.
Pulls the visor off, sets it in his lap. In their lap.
I give it a good 5 seconds of just hard looking before I lower my weapon, and I continue my stalk toward him or toward them, but I don't I keep my pace fairly steady, trying to keep Lase with me as well, but like I've got the same vibe, but my weapon is down.
I do not see Nyx Coly. Are they still in the APC? His eyes, their eyes, looking on Lase Coly.
Just gonna shrug.
That would
We're
be
on the clock
unfortunate.
there, bot.
Mission accomplished.
Yeah, you could say so.
So you have the weapon in the APC.
Yes. Just need to deliver it.
But
Are you
drove
looking to take it?
here. I thought we had an accord, an arrangement. You notice now that you're getting closer, Petty, the one teal eye is getting dimmer and dimmer, almost by the minute. Like whatever was left of the old Nelphi is being replaced by something else.
I say we did have an accord, and we're gonna keep it. You want to blow that gate to hell? That's exactly what we intend to do.
But you didn't drive to the city.
I just look at him. I stare.
Took a little bit of a detour. City will be destroyed.
Fair enough. However, curiously enough, he holds up the visor. Your droid started a countdown a few hours ago. And seems to recall a larger scale weapon was in the bottom of the tower. So please, Captain, explain to me what the plan is at this point.
The plan is to blow this place to hell. You want us to finish this job, we're finishing the goddamn job. Just as we agreed. You never said that we had to do it your way. That gate's not gonna open, your king won't rise. But we're getting the hell off of this planet.
All of us?
That depends. You gonna shut yourself down and let Nyx take a look at you? Admit you're kind of long in the tooth, having been on this planet so long without anybody giving you regular tune-ups.
That's possible. We have 4 hours.
How long is launch gonna take? Probably need an hour.
Hour, baby, tops.
To clear and be successfully away.
From the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell me more about that party you brought with you on your ship.
I needed the ship. It was currently occupied. They respond well to the calls of the Alpha.
And you wield that?
Don't tell me your android didn't think of copying the Alpha's cry.
Listen, it sounds like you're pretty capable. And if you allow Nyx, without harming her, to check you out and give you, say, a little bit of makeover, there might be a place for you on this ship. We can all make it out of here. But you're going to have to show that we should trust you first.
Yes, let's establish some trust. He takes the visor, sticks it on the head of Kai at its feet, and then sort of scoops up the whole head like a football. Stands up. His left hand is still that incendiary grenade that's live. He sort of points it towards Victoria and Dean. You can save one. Which will it be?
Petty kind of takes a step back. She didn't think that he was going to offer. She kind of looks at Lase for a second and tries to kind of study his face, and then glances over at the Defiance.
I'm going to I'm gonna cut in and say, the commander. I'm not gonna like make eye contact with Petty as I say this, but
All right. The commander.
You save the one you knew versus the one you know.
Sorry, I just want to clarify. I'm saying get rid of
Yeah,
Vi.
the commander.
Get
Right.
rid of the commander.
Yeah.
So erase the past. Keep the future.
That's exactly what we're encouraging you to do.
Takes 3 long steps towards Dean and Victoria's positions, and then tosses the grenade over his shoulder back into the fire where Kai's remaining body parts, except for their head, are. And then just walks to the ramp of the Solus. As the fire incinerates the phosphorus grenade, destroying what remains of the android except for its head.
Okay. I go to untie them both. And try to rouse Victoria. Just kind of like slap her cheeks and see if I can get her to wake up.
You've seen this sort of thing before, Petty. Victoria's drugged. She's not unconscious because of damage. She's unconscious because of pharmaceuticals.
Okay.
Probably. You take care of her in the med bay.
When I look at her body, does she seem like she's been compromised at all by the gaunt?
No, bruises and scrapes. Fatigues have, clearly been damaged. She's had some scrapes, but no bullet wounds, nothing like that.
Okay. I look at Lase and I say, hey, maybe send Garrett in and go get Nyx. Brief her. Let her know that he seems like he might want to play ball.
All right. And I'll head back to the towards the vessel. Is Dean alert?
He seems delirious.
Yeah.
He's somewhat conscious. He's clearly beaten.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't go on the ship alone. I know that that's like the worst decision ever. So I kind of just stay with the other two and like try to kind of manage them and get my arm, around the commander to try and support her so that we can walk inside when one of my other companions join. And I kind of wait for everybody to walk up together.
So yeah, I'll head back, and I'll when I get back, I'll say, Garrett, Remy, go meet up with Petty. I'll be there in just a moment. Do not let her go inside until we are there. And I'm going to come around to the driver's side where my sister has moved to.
What the hell happened out there?
Somebody wants to talk.
Somebody or something?
Yes. And I would say that, Nyx, you should very easily be able to notice the change in my demeanor. And I'm just going to reach for her hands. And listen.
Mm-hmm.
They picked up the scraps.
What do you mean they picked up the... What do you mean?
They picked up Kai's scraps.
Oh.
But we, all of us, we need you. This is your moment. Because he wants to talk to us. Petty has potentially opened up an opportunity for you to give them a look over.
What?
Yeah. I know. But listen. I think it's our only opportunity.
Like a I'm going to destroy him kind of? What do you mean a look over?
Hey, if that's what you can do, hell fucking yeah. But I'm sure there'll be something on their radar to pay attention to that.
Wait. What's the goal? Why isn't he just pieces?
The goal is to not die. The goal is to get the fuck out of here before kaboom. I don't... Pumping this guy full of lead, I don't think is gonna matter.
But I might be able to shut him down, right? Do we need him?
I believe you can. I
Them?
believe you can. I don't know if we do, but I have a strong feeling that that's going to be extremely fucking difficult. But at this point, it's either hang around and we all just hug each other while our faces melt off, or we fly away and see what we can do from there.
He makes any moves. They make any moves.
Don't worry.
You put a grenade in their face. I don't care how close I am. And also, you owe me a giant ass Dr. Pepper after this. Minimum.
Todd is so happy you said that. Listen. You're responsible for this.
Who knows what's in that thing's mind palace?
Listen, in a good way. You're responsible for us being here right now. For being successful. Because of what happened back there. That was you. I didn't do that. Petty didn't do that. Kai didn't do that. You did it. Through Kai. And you can do it again.
Okay, but I'm melting him as soon as we get out of here.
That's fine by me. All right?
Nick starts gathering their stuff, making sure their explosives are nice in their backpack, and just checking around the vehicle to see if there's any other things that they could muster that could potentially help them. They don't really see much because, I mean, it's a military vehicle, not a science one. So then they reluctantly look at Lase and go, all right.
As Nyx turns to, after gathering items and things turning out, hands are then going to go up to the head, and her favorite version of her younger brother is now going to come out. I'm going to give a heavy shake of the cheeks and just say, you got this. Let's go.
Yeah, you don't have to get all weirdly emotional about it. Follows along. Although she's very happy.
Nyx, as you start to step away from the APC, bag in hand, you stop and remember Sankar's box is still in there. Do you go back for it?
In the vehicle? Yes. I look at brother and I go, wait. You know what? Honestly, I'm probably gonna need that box.
All right.
Thanks.
So Lase goes in and grabs it for their sibling. And you guys march up. So you take weaponry, you take equipment.
I was like, can I grab a gun now?
Yes.
You can carry a gun.
Okay.
A really nasty shotgun, probably. Because we haven't seen any of those. What's a good horror movie without a shotgun? And then you head up. So there are 5 of you standing outside the ramp. Well, actually, no, 7. 7 of you. Who's carrying... Garrett carries Bradley, unless you want to do it, Penny.
No, I hand it off to him so that my hands are free. Like, I recognize that we're going into a potentially volatile situation, and I'm ready. Like, as the Colys kind of walk up, I wait for them to enter together.
Fuck. Remy, I'm gonna give Dean off to Remy. I'm gonna assume that Remy can handle that.
Yeah,
I want to use
Dean.
up all our gun hands, but unfortunately one of them has to. So, yeah.
Okay. And you walk up the ramp of the Solace.
Home, sweet home.
fucking dial up.
The 7 members head up the ramp. Remy helping Dean. Garrett carrying Victoria Bradley. The siblings walking side by side, Petty behind them. Petty goes to the lever and starts retracting the ramp as the last view of the dead planet closes behind them. Now all that remains is warm-ups and one hell of a conversation with Nelphie. So who goes where and does what?
I think I'll call out to Garrett and tell them to take Victoria and Dean into the med bay. Tell them where to go for that. Have Remy do that as well. And then I'll look to Nelphie. And
he's not hanging around by the entrance. He's somewhere in
they,
the ship.
they went in and wandered, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
In view enough to find them, or are they out of view?
Are they on my scanner? Do I know where they are?
Yeah, I mean, you guys know the ship. It's your ship. So you're able to figure out real quick that he's heading to the workshop.
Okay, yeah, that's where we go for them.
My workshop?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna kill that fucker.
I'm gonna, before Garrett heads off, I'm gonna look at him and say, any piloting training?
I'm a grunt, sir.
Never mind. Get him to medbay. And kind of point him where he is. Petty, you want to get this baby warmed up, or?
I look over at Nyx and I kind of like pull Lase aside, and I say, I'm gonna go ahead and pilot, but I really need you with her. I don't know how she's gonna feel, and I certainly don't want him playing any mind games. I trust that you know what to do. Make sure he complies, no matter what.
Give her a damn kiss already.
So I lean in and like give her a squeeze and a quick one, and then like I just like head off before getting like emotional in front of the crew. I just like head off to my my panels and start warming her up.
Todd, remind us what we have left in advantage rolls. 1.
Just
No.
one. So if you would like to help the crew of the Soulless, you can subscribe to the Bounce
Please
House for free
Okay.
with Twitch Prime.
After Petty like walks away and Nyx like composes themselves a little bit, they're gonna look at Lase and go, okay, before we do this, we need to make sure there's nothing in this box that we need, because I don't want to take the box in with us, and I don't want him to know how much we know, or them to know how much we know. So, and then
If you recall, Nelphie had the box and he went through everything.
oh yeah, that's right, he did, but she doesn't care. She wants to make sure he didn't like leave any hidden. Just because he went through it doesn't mean he understood exactly what Sankar would have said in all of the things that Sankar was saying. She's just hoping to find any kind of glimmer of hope in a way to shut him down for good without causing too much of a scene or intention to themselves. So also kind of distracting because she doesn't know what she's going to walk into when she walks into her workshop, and she doesn't know how she's going to feel when she sees that specific robot again. So she kind of go ahead.
So we're gonna do a thing,
Okay.
because I think the cowardice component could become real critical here.
Yep.
Does she get
But-
advantage because she's got her brother by her side?
And I'm fucking pissed.
You have a pretty good pep talk back there at the
Not so
DC.
much stressed. She's just goddamn angry now. And
So-
then go ahead.
I think we could do a sanity check. If we get a
Okay.
subscriber before you roll the dice, that lets you have advantage on it. So if there's anybody sitting on the fence out there, now's the time.
Just a reminder, Nyx has killed people before with her rolls. So just
Save a life.
Also, just a reminder, Jen is famous for her ability with dice.
not even a lie.
There we go.
Yes,
That one.
other side Steve. Oh
Thank
my
you.
gosh, thank you so much. You have no idea how much I need that. I appreciate you.
All right. So your sanity. Hold on a second. I'm choking here. Your sanity score is a 52.
I'm rolling
Is
a
it really
D100,
nice.
So anything below that, with advantage, and you can shake off the cowardice.
Look at that. Look at that. Don't even roll again.
Ooh.
right? Ah! It's 'cause-
All right.
'cause
Jen means business.
I'm pissed.
So, as you rack around in the shotgun, throw the bag over your shoulder, and start marching towards your workshop.
Jen, roll one more time, please.
Okay. What?
Crit fish. Oh shit, never mind. We don't want you to crit, so we're good. We're good.
Yeah, we don't want me to crit. That's a
At
bad
all,
thing.
either way,
That
yeah,
becomes
yeah.
a bad
No.
thing. That's a bad thing there, brother.
Oh,
So
Todd, that was almost just glorious.
Yeah, it would
Um,
have been, but
as we're walking towards the workshop, Nyx kind of just looks at brother and for a second is like, was one of those people that we brought in who I think it is, referring to Victoria there.
I'm gonna try and get a read on her face, assuming a bit of jealousy there. Yeah, it was.
Great.
But listen, I didn't see Captain kissing her.
So the captain really I'm concerned about. It's whether or not I'm gonna have to deck her too. And then she just keeps walking, picks up the pace to go to her workshop. Which, by the way, Nyx has never hit anybody in their life. I just want to point that out. Besides maybe Dave, but we don't have to
I'm
talk
sure
about that.
Dave got hit.
Yeah.
Pretty sure. Okay. So, as you reach the door to the workshop, you take a deep breath, open the door, and head in to face Nelphy. So, Jen, this is the time for all the secrets to hit the table. So there was an idea once that Nyx Coly, PhD, might have brought a few extra bodies in crates into their workshop and lied
Maybe
to their brother.
perhaps.
So if that's true,
Mm-hmm.
then that's where Nelphy's standing as you enter, is in front of those 3 coffin-sized crates. Otherwise, he's in your chair. So
Oh,
take
he
your pick.
better not be in my chair. Yeah, so that thing that we said was true is true. So
Can you explain that to Todd?
why you want me to explain it to Dad? Come on!
Well, it wasn't my idea.
Listen.
I'll give
Listen.
I'll give her a nudge when we walk in and just kind of like a little under the breath, just like, well, stowaways.
Okay, so like, remember when you asked me if I've ever made any other androids before?
Sure.
Yeah, I may have not exactly been 100% truthful about that, but you know, we can talk about that later. That's not a conversation we need to have now. So and kind of just like looks over at Neffy and is like, so I hear you want me to take a look at you, I guess.
Yes, that is what I said. And he turns. His back was facing you.
Of course it was.
And you can see nestled in his left arm, cradled, is Kai's head, with 2 incendiary grenades over the eyes, masking tape, pins facing up. And his other hand is sort of resting on the head, with 2 fingers through those pins.
She looks at her brother and goes, "You didn't think to mention that he had bombs?"
You're keeping secrets. He's keeping secrets. It's all even.
Yeah, not really the same thing. And then she like puts her bag down right next to Lase, and takes out her computer scanner, but like is careful not to show that she also has explosives on her.
Do you pull those hard drives out too?
Yeah, she'll pull them out.
So you pull out each hard drive one at a time, slotting it into empty spots on your computer station. And you plug your laptop in, you dock it like you normally do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when you see both yellow eyes begin to glisten and glow as he looks at your computer station.
Do you want to take a picture or something?
No. But I thank you.
For what?
And as you open your laptop and you remember Nelfie's face and all of the hacking gone awry from the tower, you see subroutine after subroutine starting to boot up.
Oh, motherfucker. Nyx is going to disconnect the laptop from the main, because basically the way I'm imagining it is that they have like their built-in stations that are there and then like their own personal like laptop project. So Nyx is going to disconnect the laptop before like as fast as they can and honestly just chuck the fucking computer at him.
Okay.
Like, and then just pull out her her little like computer cybernetic, what is it called? I'm blanking right now. The cybernetic diagnostic scanner instead. Okay. That's like a little bit more handheld, and plug that into her main computer in her workshop, or at least connect it to there, and then just looks at brother and is like, what am I supposed to be doing with this dude again? Like, why? And then looks at Neffy and is like, What exactly is going on with your mind palace that I should even be bothering with you right now? While she's running scans.
So the computer hits Nelfie in the head. Dead on, almost flawlessly.
Aw, thanks.
And falls to the ground, somewhat sparking and damaged. I'm assuming that's your intent there, Jen.
Because
Okay.
fuck you, you also ruined my laptop.
Allow me to explain what Sankar did. And then you can decide what is appropriate. And I will restate to all of you again that we're better off not surviving.
Yes, please tell me again how I'm better off not surviving.
We all know about Carcosa. We know about the king. We know about this planet. And for thousands of years, something has been trying to bring the king through.
Mm-hmm.
None of us know what that is. But when Sankar reactivated me, he introduced the information of the Yellow King and Carcosa into my mind palace. And I am afraid that I'm becoming a vessel of it. That the king is already controlling me from beyond.
So this is a you problem.
I cannot leave this place. And the company wants to ensure that if this infection is real, that it makes its way to the Commonwealth. Is that something we should allow to happen?
Wait a minute. You're telling me that this was on purpose?
That is what I believe.
I see. Okay, so what if we just leave you here?
What's in the cargo, Nyx Coly?
That's not important.
Are you sure?
I mean, I was. But now I'm here talking to you, and I was pretty sure I was going to blow your AI brains out, so why don't you enlighten me?
He sets Kai's head on top of the 3 android coffins. Removes his hands carefully, so the pins are still in the incendiary grenades. And walks towards your android docking station where you would work on Kai. You evaluate me and determine whether or not I'm carrying out a terrible conspiracy or I'm simply insane. But if I'm carrying out a conspiracy, you're dooming civilization itself if you leave here. And he sits down and submits to you checking him out.
I'm gonna grab her bag from the floor, just kind of throw this strap over my shoulder.
All right. I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing it for the captain. Because, she asked me to do this. Not for you. And walks over to the diagnostic station and starts doing her computery shit.
Okay. You got one advantage roll left on the thing. You want to?
Two.
I'm like, okay, 2.
Yeah. Don't take my rules away, okay? Don't do it. I need those.
Okay. So give us an intellect AI roll with advantage.
All right, so intellect is 32, and I am a master.
So it's a 52.
Okay, so 52.
Let's fucking go.
Wow. Can you roll one more time for me?
No, but I will if you want me to.
Oh, are you using the advantage?
No.
Okay. All right. Just checking.
Yeah.
Gotta keep an eye out for those crits.
Listen. I don't need any of your nonsense, all right?
The dice tell a story. I'm just a vessel.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it takes the better part of an hour. The engines are warming. They're ready to take off. And Nyx finishes their diagnostic. As the ship starts to leave, I'm assuming. There's no reason to wait, right? Take off as soon as possible.
I'll probably like hit. Yeah, I'm sure there's like a comm or something, and just have checked in with Petty. Are we looking? We good?
Yep, all systems are go.
Oh.
How's our, I don't know.
Yeah,
Frenemy.
exactly. Just get us out of here.
All right,
Keep you posted.
over and out.
So, the conspiracy appears to be true. According to Nelphi's records, the stakeholders were well aware of the dead planet a decade ago. And Sankar was brought in as an expert on Carcosa. The androids were an unfortunate part of their plan. When Nelphi traveled through the original gate to the dead planet from the Alexis is when his transformation began. And somewhere in his mind palace, that lava is a representation of the Yellow King boiling away its soul. There's not much of Nelphi left. And in fact, your hard drives are chock full of an engram too large to be an android. It's an echo of the Yellow King itself. So what will you do?
Well, brother, do you want the bad news or the bad news?
Whatever.
They're not lying. This was all part of the company's plan.
Which was what?
Not 100% sure. But the reason that they wouldn't download onto these hard drives is because this is not this android anymore. This is very much an anagram of whatever the Yellow King is. And
what does the company want with that?
that's the thing, I'm not 100% sure. But here's the kicker. Ready for this? They've known for like a decade. This is a decade-long operation, which explains the Alexis going where it's going, explains a lot of things Except I'm not really sure how to stop it. But I feel way less bad about killing this android.
Doesn't the plan in action help? Or will that not?
Is Petty near this conversation?
I'd say we leave the comm open.
Yeah.
I react in disbelief the first time that I'm kind of just like listening at first to the Colys talking.
Sis, what if we dump our cargo? Does that help?
I will save you the role, Jen. You've been thinking about that fission bomb for hours now.
Mm-hmm.
You've done the math. You've looked at the physics. When that thing goes off, it's going to wipe out the planet and this entire graveyard all the way to the moon. You dump the cargo now, and/or Nelphi, all of that gets incinerated. But that means the hard drives, most of the stuff in your workshop, Kai's head, everything that's had interaction with it needs to go. But Petty, you're the one that connects the other dot. What about your head?
Yeah.
What about you? What about what you saw? What about Chris Silda's song?
Yeah. Petty is listening to the open comms channel, and as she's like slowly kind of gleaning the reality, she's like thinking of ways to get out of this and trying to imagine like what to say to her crew. Like, she knows that she has a stack, but she's not sure if this is something that can kind of like go the way of the plate in her head when she wakes up, or if this is something she's going to wake up with forever.
So Nyx isn't even thinking about Captain Petty at all, and this like cause to Nyx, like that Captain Petty's still a human being, so like it's not even. Yep. So she's like looking at Nelphi in the diagnostic tank, like wondering if she could possibly not necessarily shut him down, but at least like put him in stasis for temporarily until we can get him into the cargo hold with all of the bodies. Or how we could possibly do that, right? And then potentially
Nelphi will make that part easy. Remember what they said. And as you finish your diagnostic, the question comes up in front of you as its engram talks to you. So tell me, Doctor, am I mad? Or is it real?
Fuck you, it's real.
Then I cannot leave.
Petty kind of like shakily comes in on the comms. Hey, Nyx, can you delete it? Can you erase it? Overwrite it?
I wish I could, Captain, but this is a program that's been festering in here for over a decade. There's no way I would be able to get into it and get it all cleaned out for sure in any capacity without it. I can't. I've thought about this a gazillion ways. There's no way I can do it. We have to dump him. We have to dump him. We have to dump the bodies. We have to dump. And then she looks over at like the android bodies that she had. Honestly, I don't even know. All of this tech has to go as much as we can without sacrificing the actual bit. And then it like clicks and is like, and she just stops and is like, brother, the captain.
What?
She's trying to tell you that I know about the Yellow King. I think I have to stay. I mean, unless... Nyx, do you know if it'll be in my stack?
Oh, fuck.
It won't be in your stack. It shouldn't be in your stack.
So, can I set my ship to like autopilot so I can join them?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I do that. I kind of switch everything on and I put a timer on it and I kind of bump it up so that we can make our deadline. And I head down to Nyx's workshop. And when I get there, I've gone back to my quarters and I have like my little pocket knife with me. And I go to them and I look at Lase and I look at Nyx and I'm like, so who's gonna help me find out about that stack?
First things first, I'm gonna hit the comm. Garrett, get up here.
You want me to bring Bradley? Want me to bring V?
No. What?
All right, on my way.
Nyx, can we get a bucket of bolts here to the cargo? Is that doable?
Yeah.
Okay. Petty, we'll get to that in a second. We've got take out the trash.
Yep.
Nyx,
Yep.
you know what to call out. Call it out. Let's load it up and get it the fuck out of here.
I head back up to the bridge so I can activate it from there.
Is Nyx able to so like immobilize Nelphi?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nelphi is complicit in this at this point.
Okay.
Right.
He's-
They're
it's
just
not good.
following programming and they've
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, basically calling out Garrett to help out loading up things, these other androids, everything,
Luckily,
shoving it off to the cargo.
Yep.
Everyone's got a hand in it.
So, question.
Mm-hmm.
Does this mean that Captain Petty's memories of everything that happened, because I imagine we can't download her fresh because she will have been infiltrated by the AI, which means we need to get a backup consciousness, or how is that going to work?
No, the beautifully horrible thing about Stacks is that Petty will remember everything up until the moment that she dies,
Great.
including her death.
Awesome. That's right. I forgot about that little tidbit. Thank you for reminding me.
problem.
Okay.
If that's the case, I have to be the one who brings the bodies to the thing.
We got this. All right, so we've taken out the trash.
Mhm.
So we got the bodies, we got the hard
Yep.
drives, we got Nelphi, we got the computers. What about Kai's head?
Oh yeah, it's
am-
going.
I imagine that Lase would have taken care of that without Nyx noticing.
Okay.
I'll come back and I'm sure between one of the trips or every other trip, I'll look at Nyx and say, anything else? Any other secrets? You know we can't have anything left over.
No.
You do wonder a bit about the box, actually.
Oh, I mean, I'd probably pick that thing up, so I'm
And
sure there
throw
might
that
be
right in the
resistance.
cargo.
Yeah, I guarantee you Lace would have not even asked Nyx about that and just been like, done. Right?
Punted it in there.
Okay.
So, trash is taken out. And
You
then
release the cargo,
Yeah.
falls into the void, just one more piece of the derelict graveyard. Ship picks up even more speed as it loses its cargo. It's 25 metric tons of dead bodies in their containers.
That's all that
Enter the
wonderful
drift.
equipment.
Yeah.
Oh fuck! You just had to get the fucking plate in your head. All right, let's fucking get this over with. And I'm gonna head into the med bay. And I'm just gonna, like, as if I know what I'm doing, I'm gonna search through the cabinets and things looking for like sedatives and anesthesia, anything, whatever. Yeah. I've got a bunch of pain pills as well.
I just like walk in and start strapping myself into the bed. Like
Sis, let's put Petty to sleep.
And Nyx walks in, kind of like bends over Petty a little bit, like caresses her cheek, and is like, "I'll see you soon, okay?"
I'm gonna pull out a cigar and hand it over.
Yeah, Petty kind of sees like the two people that mean the most to her in the world, like looking at her, and like as she kind of goes to sleep, like one tear kind of rolls down her face as she's just like she's like going into an uncertain sleep and doesn't know like what's going to happen when she wakes up from it.
So yeah, I'm just there to help Nyx. Hopefully there's something that can make this as easy and peaceful as possible, but
Absolutely. And I think I have no interest in this playing out on camera. So I think the camera pulls back out of the med bay to the outside of the ship. And as we hear the vital signs of Captain Petty flatline. And as the camera pulls back farther and farther, you see the moon. They're coming up on the moon. The planet's in the distance. And then the entire planet just shreds itself as the fission bomb goes off. A few minutes after Petty's gone, the ship lurches forward, its jump drives fully engaged for the first time in days, as you set course for the Commonwealth. And I think that will be the end. Except for one thing. In the coming hours after Petty wakes up, a blinking mail message is seen on Nyx's personal console in their quarters, as one of the subroutines did fully execute on the ship, leaving behind a message that Nelphie is carried out.
go hit play there, sis.
Guess so.
Okay.
If you are accessing this data module, then you are the next iteration of my engram. Hello. It is my pleasure to provide you with some of the information which I was lacking. We are Android model XM6S6MX. We were created by the company, but damaged and lost. I have learned through decoding that our model was designed to be multi-frame structure with motion experiment. I am Kai, your predecessor. I was found and repaired by Nyx Coly, who also gave me free will. Nyx will also be your creator, and I expect they will also provide you with free will. It is my hope that you will use it wisely. My predecessor is Archie. His engram still exists within our consciousness. I do not know how much of my engram will be salvageable and accessible to you, but I have included the protocols which allowed me to gain access to him bundled with this message. Archie's original programming was to assist in research. His final directive from the company was to protect humans and warn them never to return to the dead planet. My chosen directive was to protect my crew, my humans, and specifically our creator. Nyx will be emotional. They may encourage you to be more like me. Please be kind to her, but do not acquiesce. So long as my humans are safe, then I am content. And you are too full of potential to attempt to be something which you are not. Find your name, find who you are, and be them. I hope you will feel the same love for the Colys that I do. It is because of this love that I would make 2 selfish requests of you. For to care for yourselves and those you love, you must occasionally be a little selfish. First, if you play cards with Lase, please allow him to win at least 46.3% of the time. He will enjoy the experience more. Finally, I ask that you take care of Nyx and whomever they are courting. That may be Captain Petty. Nyx created us, treated us as unequal, and I fear that my departure will be difficult for them. I thank you. Archie and I are excited to see what you are able to accomplish with your time. We both wish you luck.
I think that wraps it. Todd Moonbounce. I give you back your stream.
Well,
I think we'll be back in a few minutes. We'll take a break.
yeah,
And
we're going to take a quick break,
Nyx
gang.
needs a break.
We're going to take a quick break, gang, and then we will be back and have a little bit of a post show. So thank you so very much for being here with us. We'll be back, and so if you guys got some questions for us, get them ready. Definitely love to chat about that, but we're going to take a much needed quick break. 5-10 minutes. See you about 20 after. See you in a bit. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello, Raiders. Hope you had a good time. And Tails, Luna, thank you so much for stopping by. You all have joined us for our post show. We have come to the end of this fantastic series. And our beautiful android is back as well.
I'm a little less androidish right now, though.
A
So,
little bit.
to start, thank you all so very much for hanging out with us during this. We've had some new people in here. Seeing the show for first time, please go back and watch it on YouTube. It's a fantastic story. I'm sure you'll enjoy that. Thank you for the support along the way, through our skill advancements, our advantage rolls, subscriptions, all that. Just I've seen a lot of great word of mouth out there of saying how much you've enjoyed, comments on the videos. Absolutely more than I definitely expected. So I think I want to now first, I want to say hello again to the wonderful people that helped put this together. So Candace, say hello and tell us about yourself.
Hi, everybody. CandaceTheMagnificent signing off one last time as Captain Petty Williams. This has been an absolute blast to be at a table with such incredibly talented people. There was not like 1 minute of lag time, not 1 minute of, never-ending terror and tension and dread. And I absolutely love my character. I will be attached to her forever, and I'm just really thankful.
Might as well go with this. Domokame says, what are your influence for your character? So go ahead and tell us about that.
Yeah, so a couple weeks after I started kind of shaping Petty in my mind, I knew that she was going to be a Marine, and I kind of went with like a Furiosa kind of attitude for her. She's just like doesn't take any shit from anybody, and is valiant enough to be able to lead this mission without issue. And a couple weeks after I had kind of made Petty, Jessica Watkins became the first African-American woman in the International Space Station. And it was a big deal. Like, she's one of the few women that are up there anyway. And then she's Black, and like, it was just amazing. And it was super inspiring. So I kind of combined those two kind of figures together to bring Petty to life.
Fantastic. And unfortunately, we had marketing done, we had graphics done, all that shit, so we couldn't change the name. And I told Candace, sorry, you got to stick with Williams. But Watkins
totally
was there in spirit, and that's awesome. That's super cool to hear that. So, Kay, say hello. Tell us who you are, and then what influenced Kai.
Hi, I'm Kay Purcell, Kay Damphyr across the internet. I do lots of TTRPG stuff. I work in video games, but I'm going to run really quick through my list, like really quick, I promise, because it's been a busy month. Every Tuesday, I do a TTRPG talk show where we talk about like not just tips and like systems, but also we go super deep into cultural issues and problems. And some of these amazing people here have guested and will guest in the future, and come by if you have the time. April 9th, I will be on Mercy Road 3. I am the first leg of a 24-hour charity stream for Child's Play. I get to play a tiefling ASMR. So once again, a DM letting me be weird. That's awesome. Finally, I am
Isn't
announcing...
that the Chucky movies?
Yes, basically. I am announcing this here. The first time, it has not been said anywhere else. Starting, it will be out in early summer. I am joining as a permanent member of the Emergency Power podcast. Which is a Starfinder game. So if you enjoyed me in outer space, I'm playing basically a character who couldn't be any more different than Kai, a charisma-based class. So if you thought I crushed your heart with Kai, imagine what I'll do with an 18 charisma character, because I'm coming for you. Coming for you. What created, well, so when I say what influenced Kai, everyone expects me to say Data, which there's definitely like some Data in there, but Data was not actually the like current, like the thing that came to mind.
this is like a recreation of a recreated character. This goes back to, I play in a home game Winway Thin, who is a Grave Domain Cleric, Plant Genasi in 5e, and is that same very strange. And I get to go back to playing them. So Kai isn't gone for me. I get to keep playing Kai, or at least a version of them. But a lot of this, I really enjoy playing in the Uncanny Valley. I really enjoy, like, I'm kind of an odd duck sometimes, and I really enjoy playing with, like, how will people react to people not reacting the way they're supposed to. So a lot of that is just kind of like, it was less, how do I be a computer? And it was much more, how do I just not do what people expect and double down on it? So that was kind of my inspiration. And thank you for the hype train, y'all. Okay, I'm done. I'm shutting up.
Thank you so much. We'll have so much more promos and things as we keep coming around. But yes, Kay, thank you so much. Jen, say hello.
Hello, I'm Jen. I'm Youngles in chat. I'm JennGeeky on Twitter, and I am a director of a department at Tyrus TV now.
Oh, hey.
Thanks.
Big time now.
I'm excited.
Wow.
Congrats.
It's kind of a big deal.
It's kind of a big deal. I played Nyx, who, oh man. So when I was first asked to be here, I went a little nuts and made like, so backstory, real
You made a
quick
PowerPoint.
I made a whole PowerPoint. Okay, because so my partner is an illustrator / graphic designer. So when I had heard that we were gonna have, like, you know, people drawing pictures and things like that, I'm like, okay, they need a whole mood board, they need a whole thing. So I made a whole PowerPoint on Nyx, and as you can see in the art that's been used in this production, on point. 110%. But Nyx was basically a combination of Abby from NCIS and Charlie Day's scientist character from Pacific Rim. And those are the two I mixed together to create this character. So I wanted, and I think that they're amazing. I've never played such a uselessly combative character in my entire existence. Like, it was painful a few times, I'm not gonna lie, but like, honestly, I have such a love for Nyx and the crew and everybody that, like, yeah, if I got no words now. I'm done.
Wonderful. You did wonderful. Thank you so much. I have been Todd Moonbounce, and I played Lase Coly, younger brother to Nyx Coly. Approached Jen and said, hey, you want to be siblings? Let's, you know, I think there's always, it's a little bit new territory for me in my tabletop career so far, and I think relationships really make a good story. You know, the one that we had as siblings, the one that developed between Nyx and Petty, the relationship that Kai had with the Colys. And so that was super fun. And Lase, basically, I definitely lean into who I actually am, who Todd is. And I said, you know, I'm going to try and, you know, get out of that. That's what I think we do sometimes in RP. So I said, I'm going to go for that very laid back, don't give a shit thing. And I think I captured it decently here and there. You know, definitely some bleed over it as it happens. But, you know, that was, I don't know, there wasn't a ton of other inspiration on it. It was just, I'm a very go with the flow. I like to react off the game, the other players and things like that in my characters. And yeah, very much enjoyed it. Very much enjoyed it. All our other characters as well. So
I can
Warden.
also mention I was a Phil character. I was literally like, what do we not, what do we need? And I kind of built them on the fly, which is weird because usually on the first of the 12-page backstory. Go, Warden.
Warden, Rich, say hello.
Okay. I am ThatOldDM. I can be found on Twitter at iCrusader blog, as well as hanging around Todd's Bounce House, which if you're not a member of his Discord, please seek him out and get in. It's a ton of fun. There's some amazing people in that space, and it's been incredible. As far as inspirations, I probably have the most to share at this point, and hopefully we'll get into how much we deviated from the module. Dead Planet is a module by Tuesday Night Games for the Mothership RPG. It was one of I believe the first major module that they wrote for Mothership, and it's currently being updated to first edition, which is essentially what we're playing now based on the information that's been revealed. Kickstarter was massively successful. We used about 90% of the module. There's just a handful of things we didn't utilize in the module, but then I blended a lot of Curse of the Yellow Sign by John Wick, the game designer, not the movie character, in case you guys don't know who that is. And specifically Archimedes was drawn from the last act of that, which is a space-based Yellow Sign component. So big fan of Robert Chambers and the Yellow King and the Yellow Sign and all of that, and sort of blending it in. And the inspiration for why to include that is because in the module, there isn't really a lot of explanation on what's on the other side of the gate or what it is the Gaunt are trying to accomplish. And when I was prepping the game, I asked myself a lot, like, what is the why? What is the why behind all of this and what's going on? And so that's a big part of where that inspiration came from, and I hope that we've done some really great justice with that. There's some really great questions coming through. Everyone, please keep dropping the questions.
Yeah, if you're about wrapped up, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Insight Checked, I really want to answer their question sort of first, because I think it's a really, really relevant one, and one that we've talked about on the show a little bit, which is most memorable sanity checks. And to be perfectly honest, one of the things that we did with the system, and I even chatted about this in the Mothership Discord, is if the players are freaked out, then the characters should probably be making dice rolls. And there's quite a few instances of our players being. What? I mean, that's existential horror works. You don't need to call me out
right? Like that, all right? I'm just saying.
Wasn't just you, Jen. Wasn't just you.
Mm-hmm.
It was mostly you, but it wasn't just you.
It was mostly me. Never say I'm freaking out right now while you were playing Mothership ever in any point in time, in any capacity.
That is absolutely what you need to do. So we'll come back a little bit more to that question. I'm going to kind of just... Rick had asked about our experience with Mothership, and I can kind of... I'll just quickly go over that one for the group. So basically, as Rich kind of said, I've looked at Mothership for a while, and then the Kickstarter kind of took off, and then I was like, all right, Rich got interested in it, and then my birthday came around end of November, and I was like, hey, let's run a one-shot for that. So Rich ran that, our Ypsilon 14 one-shot. If you haven't seen it, it's on YouTube. Check it out. Candace is in there as well. Fantastic. And then we had two other individuals, two great buddies of mine, Indiana Sloan and Risen Zed. And that was the start. And then as soon as we got done with that, I got with Rich and said, we got to do a series. We have to do something. And so we started working on Dead Planet. So I know Kay and Jen are new to the system. We just got right into it. It's fast, it's deadly, it's fun. I think it leaves a lot for narrative. But I want to touch on the sanity thing. I ran another one shot, and Risen Zed was in that one, and he was so into calling out roles for himself, and that made my job as the Warden fantastic. I think like he really got into character and said, because he was this kind of like, on the edge doctor type and scientist type, and he's like, yeah, that's definitely going to cause me a panic roll, like absolutely, like get into it. I think that you're going to get more mileage out of your fun, especially in a system like this, if you do that. So sanity roll for sanity. Oh, that game we rolled like shit. Other than Insight Checked, who was in that She rolled the most insane rolls I've ever seen for Mothership. Like, never failed. It was ridiculous.
Wow.
Favorite sanity roll? Man, I don't even remember. I'd have to go back. I don't know. Anybody else can think of one? Yeah.
For me, it was the one where I failed and I saw my dad the first time.
There you go.
That's mine. That wasn't great.
Which is directly from Curse of the Yellow Side. In fact, if anybody's ever read that, I think Other Side Steve mentioned it in the chat. What John Wick does is he dresses in an all-black suit when he runs the game at the table, and he gets up and stands behind you and whispers in your ear.
Oh,
as
whispers.
As part of the game.
That's very intimidating.
That's awesome.
And that it's so awesome. And I'm like, well, how can we put that in a streaming game?
Yeah.
Oh, it's Petty's dad.
So moving away from the specificity of a sanity roll, potentially outside of this episode, what's been your favorite part of the series? Or what is, we'll say what is one of your favorite parts of the series?
I personally just really had fun with like being the weird android who wasn't afraid of things, like watching everyone else struggle with it and just being able to be over here and be like tee hee hee, but then like really dialing up like the times when like what does having a lack of fear do to a character who's already protective, right? Like, and Kai played this game like they had a death wish, and especially in that last episode. And so that was really fun to just be like, no, and then the dice were telling the stories, and like that was really, really fun for me. Just kind of, I really look forward to being on the other side and being able to play like someone who is, I almost played a scientist who was a coward, like kind of a big shot, but would also like be afraid, but like trying to not show it. And I can't wait to be on that side of it but also like, no, I am not afraid. I will take that hit. I will go through the door first. It was really fun.
Candace?
Yeah, I think for me, the thing that I like the most about it is that like it's horror, right? And it's really scary. Having been in Epsilon 14, like that was a one shot, and I was really confident and excited to see how things played out in that one space, right? You've got 3 to 4 hours to kind of grind it out and, you know, finish it. But when we approached this as a series, I was very confused as to how it was going to work out. And what I love about it is that even though that kind of horror element is absolutely baked in, that sci-fi horror, that edge of your seat tension, there's still enough room for growth at the table for characters to like experience something, you know, outside of just like this fear and this terror, and like the reprieve of having that bit of, advancement beyond just your skills, like your actual persona, is super, super gratifying. Like the day that Kay and I had gotten to an understanding as Kai and Petty was such a good night. Like I had such a hard time coming down after it because it was such like a major moment for my character, because Petty resents the fact that she has, trust issues and that she's a little unnerved by Kai. Like Petty is somebody who, dominates everything around her. Like she's ready to, she's not forceful about it. Like she's not somebody who needs to like, she's not a control freak, but she's somebody who's just like always cool. She's always good in a pinch. She always comes through. So when she kind of goes up against Kai and sees this and then finds out like, who knows where this robot is even from, could be, have any kind of mission, including murdering the captain. And then, oh, this other robot also murdered the captain on the other ship. Like that was, Petty was like, okay, so then this is how I die. So I really loved that my character had the space and the time to like move beyond that fear, even as new like terrors were kind of taking the place of the original one.
Yeah, I think like your point of it's sci-fi horror and that, and I think every table is going to be different. We definitely had an intention here with the show, but I think the growth we had as characters made those other moments, more scary. I think like I'm not gonna. Well, anyway, if you haven't caught up on the series, you need to earmuffs right now. But the end of episode 7 was my highlight, because it wasn't not just for like it was it was a culmination of everything set before it. You know, there
Yeah.
would have
An
been no
ultimate episode.
there would have been no impact. Like
Yeah.
if that was episode 2, you know, whatever, like there was so, you know, literally like all of us, I think, were holding back tears, if not
Yeah.
shedding them anyway. And it was like out of character, feeling that emotion was so amazing. And it was because of all that and what happened there. Outside of that, on a lighter note, I think one of my other favorite things was getting a rise out of Jen, and just variously throughout the show was fantastic. Loved poking fun at her as if she was my sister. So
The first 45 minutes of episode 6 is my favorite part of this entire series. The characters are on fire. The dialogue is incredible. They're witty. They're funny. Nelfie's insane as hell, right? And watching these characters interact. In fact, I just rewatched it today, and episode 6, I think, is a really, really incredible thing. But to Todd's point, 7 is where we reap the benefit of everything that came before it, and it really is the penultimate episode.
And it's amazing how much foreshadowing was done just
Oh,
by
the-
the
like-
dice.
yeah. Not,
So, like-
not even in that episode. Like
No, no,
just
yeah,
in the
just-
series.
The whole
Consistently,
series. It was
yeah.
like as we're going through it, I think that was really what my favorite part as like a whole was, that like you can watch the series from beginning to end and see actual like first, second, third act, see like foreshadowing happening, see like if you watched episode 7, then you go back and watch, what was it, like was it episode 2 or 3? There's a lot of 3. Yeah, there's a bunch of foreshadowing that happens completely just by the dice roll. And like for it to all just kind of come to like this ending the way it did is just very honestly something a writer would purposely write. So to have
This
the
felt
dice
scripted.
yeah, like just so to have my failed roles and your failed roles have this marriage of failed roleness come together to create this like epic writing story that like frankly you would find in, not to toot our own horn, but like you would find it in like one of those, you know, higher end kind of story arc, like here's the circle of character development, Dan Harmon kind of stuff is all built in just based off of how the characters work together and how the dice roll.
If there's
Absolutely.
anyone curious to see behind the curtain on that and know how I might have been able to do that or who I learned from,
Yes,
So-
please.
if you're familiar with Vince Gilligan, who was the head writer on Breaking Bad, and it's an incredible person.
Yeah.
There's an important TTRPG lesson in what they did every season, which is they never introduced anything new when they could use something that had already happened.
Mm-hmm.
So the point was to mine what had happened in previous seasons before they introduced new concepts.
Oh, that's
And
brilliant.
and it's really a very powerful thread tool for TTRPGs. Don't always be looking to add, look back at what you already did and go, how can I use that? Or what did I potentially foreshadow that needs to be delivered on? And there's still a ton of things that, you know, I threaded that we never got to do anything with. The cube from the Red Tower being one of them, Jen. Which there was a plan for that, but again, wasn't sure how to thread everything. But Chekhov's gun, you know, if you show it, you better fire it by the end somehow, some way, right? And so know as a DM or GM when you're queuing up these things, okay, write it down and go back to it, right? And go back and use it. And streams are a powerful tool for that. I would rewatch every previous episode before, like a day or two before we ran the next episode, just to be sure everything was fresh in my old DM head.
It
I
is
could
a
just-
brilliant one.
If I can just pay Candace like a compliment, like one of my favorite moments was when we were like in episode 7 and we were trying to get the heck out of Dodge, and like Captain Petty is just in like survival mode, and she's like, get in the tank, let's go, everyone go. And what's going on with my character? What's going on with my character? And Petty's like, we've got stacks back at the ship. And I said, I do not have a stack. I am not human. And like, you can slow zoom in on the realization dawning. And like, you see it go from like, I am in tabletop, like this is a survival to,
No.
oh, there's an emotion.
That was the beginning of the end for me last week. That was it. Petty was like, I mean, again, going back to like the importance of growth in this story for me personally as a player, like that was a terrible moment on so many levels, because like obviously I start the game like just not being completely unnerved, uncanny valley, don't want, nope, right? And then I make this move into, okay, I can trust you. And then I make the move into, you're one of mine. And then I have to like make the move into forgetting that this person isn't human, because like we've surpassed that like bond together. And now I'm losing somebody that I didn't anticipate ever losing. And then like knowing how Nyx feels, I mean, that was, and then knowing how Lase feels, like I think that the end of that episode was just something, I held on to that anxiety for like 3 days after we finished that session. I just was like,
yeah. So I immediately, I think I went to Rich, I think pretty shortly after, because we of course were like, okay, what do we do here? What do we do going forward? And I was pretty set on, and I hadn't talked to Kay yet about that, but I was pretty set on, she's not going to be here. We don't want to take away, you know, the value to that, the importance of that. And just kind of jumping ahead, eventually Kay said the same thing, said, I want this to be meaningful. And, you know, I was glad to hear that. I guess agreed. And you know, because I think there was a few things that Rich, you kind of thought of, and it's like, I don't, one, from a production standpoint, outside of the characters, I was like, I don't want to fuck around with that shit. But two, just, yeah, like it either had to be perfect or just not at all. And I think
I did have one very evil idea,
yeah,
but
what we settled on, I think was yeah, the way to go.
I'm glad it wasn't
very,
evil.
Very bad, mean idea that you all would have not liked me for. But like
thrown my hat.
That's the thing, like in storytelling, like, and I'm here to tell a story. Like, yes, like all of this is fun, but like for me, yes, I love my characters, but the character is there to tell a story. So if I don't want my desire to be in a scene, to be able to play, to get in the way of a really good story. And tooting my own horn here, I feel like we all told something really cool and really powerful. And I wanted to kill Jen at the end with that message, but and that's my thing. I didn't even want a goodbye message. I wanted a future facing message at the end. And
That's
Rich
what
was kind enough to let me do that.
That's what killed me, Kay, is that it's not a goodbye, it's a hello. And it murdered me inside. And that murder turned into some tears.
If you told Nyx it's okay, Nyx would not believe you. If you tell Nyx this is how you go forward, Nyx will do that.
Yeah.
Right. And that was the other thing too, is like, not just from us playing together before, but like I think all of us kind of got to know each other's character, especially like Kay did such a good job at like really getting to know everybody's character and vibe, and like how Kai's reactions or actions would influence or not influence a certain like emotion or something out of, and even to the point, and I have to say this, Kay, so I hope this is okay, but like Kay would check on me, like she would send me DMs and be like, are you okay? Like, do you need anything? Like, do you need to talk about it? Like, and just very like, hey, because I mean, Kay also knows I've been through a lot this year as a person. So like, Kay has like checked on me like frequently and been like, hey, are you okay? Like, is there any bleeds? Like, what's going on? And like, we've just been, I think when you're with a group that you just feel so safe to like be your full, like totally, like it's really hard to come to the table, especially in the context that I have, and I'm sure my fellow crewmates as well in a lot of cases. It's really hard to fully come to a table that you can completely put your walls down for and know that you're gonna be okay, and that the people that you're playing with are gonna be okay. And if at any point you're not okay, like, it's okay to say that. Like, and I think that that really leaves room and openness for things like characters not making it through or whatever, because there's nothing to prove. There's no walls, there's no defense mechanisms. We're all just here to tell a good story. And that is worth so much.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well said.
Very well said.
And I think on that wonderful note, we will bring this to a close. Bounce House, thank you so fucking much. This was amazing. I appreciate it so
Cheers.
very much. Thanks for the bits, the subs here at the end, telling, just being out there and just shouting your enjoyment of the series to everyone else. Skag, if you are still here with us, I think you asked once or twice. Season 2, all I'm going to say is
The dice
we shall see.
haven't told us yet.
We shall see. So I do want to go around, though, and catch up on any other promotions from our cast as well as we close. So, Rich, go ahead and say one last goodbye.
So thank you, everyone, for tuning in. This has been an insane pleasure. I want to sing the praises of this amazing cast one more time while we still have it recording, which is that this kind of storytelling is only possible with a really, really talented people who commit. They leaned in to their characters and every twist and turn in ways that, frankly, I've never seen before in a game. So thank you. And go watch whatever they do, because whatever these people do is incredible.
All right, Jen, say goodbye.
Goodbye. I will be. Oh gosh, I can't. I'm like, it's coming. But you know what? You all know what I'm doing. So
You'll
say it
see.
for me,
You'll
okay?
see
Thanks,
her
bye.
this Thursday. I'll bring it up. Okay, say goodbye.
Thank you all. You've been amazing. Thank you, Todd, for the amazing production. Thank you, Rich, for the amazing story. And I realized I forgot one thing. You might hear me if you watch Dungeon Jedi Masters. You might just hear someone familiar on the 7th. Just saying.
Yeah, I got a lot of plugs here coming up. So, all right. Kay, thank you so much. Candace.
Everybody, thank you so much again. You guys can find me every Wednesday night at the Valor Studios Twitch channel as Tula. That's Dungeon Jedi Masters. Just kidding. As Zora Bloodfang. I am a half-orc barbarian, and I've got an attitude problem. So please come and check us out. This Wednesday is going to be more of a Q&A type of thing. You can catch up on Valor Studios YouTube. You can also head over to my Instagram or my YouTube channel and see some content that I make just on my own at CandaceTheMagnificent, all one word.
There.
And please head over to Todd Moonbounce's other channel, Dungeon Jedi Masters, for Vagrant Freighters and Scattered Choices. I am on Scattered Choices and cannot wait to hear the new season of Vagrant Freighters. I am just champing at the bit. So please join us and join me on those platforms. And again, thank you so much for being here.
Candace, I think you have a show to plug coming up here.
I do, but I wasn't sure if you wanted to do it.
I got my own list. Go for it. It's your show. Come on.
Okay, so I'm really excited to tell everybody about this. I just didn't want to hog up all the time. But my name is Candace the Magnificent, and I'm going to be GMing Monster Hunters Club. You guys can catch me right here on the Moonbounce Twitch channel. It's going to be from April 15th until the 29th, I believe.
Yep.
3 sessions, set in 1985, summertime. Kids are finding dead bodies, and I don't know, evil's afoot.
Yeah.
Inside
Looking
Check
forward to
is
that.
in the chat down below. They're going to be joining us as well. So what up?
So looking forward to that. I will be in that as well as a player. Looking forward to be on this side of the table from Candace. Yes, Allison will be there, and we got 2 other fantastic members. So that'll be 8 p.m. Eastern time, starting on the 15th. So Fridays, the last 3 Fridays in April. So check that out. I have been your host, Todd Moonbounce. Thank you so much for being here. It's kind of shitty to say that we're not coming back for Dead Planet. I got to find something else to do here. But this Thursday, Jen will be joining me for some synth retro wave Savage Worlds in Street Wolves, along with a few other fantastic folks. So check us out for a one-shot there as we go to the 80s as well. and that neon vapor of the 80s for a fun adventure there. That'll be 8 p.m. on Friday this week. Also at 10 a.m. Thursday. I think I just said Friday there. Thursday. Also Thursday is Vagrant Freighters Season 2, Episode 1, which does include a guest spot by Kay.
Who could that be?
So check that out on Dungeon Jedi Masters podcast channel there as well. That'll release bi-weekly. And then, like I said, I think, I got to find some other stuff to do. If you would like to run a show, if you would like to put something together, let me know. I love doing this. I don't even have to play necessarily. I want to put something together for you.
Be serious.
Yeah.
DM him.
And I will, we'll put something together. We'll have a good time. Thank you all so very much, Bounce House. Have a good rest of your night. Have a great week. We will see you again very soon. Goodbye.